Hey, Clay here. I want to answer the question everybody's asking. How, in your first year as a freelance copywriter, did you earn $236,000? Before I answer that, I think there's one important piece or thing to mention. I was not new to copywriting, I was new to freelancing full time. So I already had some authority, I already had skill. I'd already been, or led, excuse me, content teams that had won awards from Inc. 5000 and Forbes. I had led copy and content for $1 billion brand, Petco. We actually crossed $1 billion in private label sales while I was leading copy and content. And I had won a contest with AWAI, among other things. I say none of that to brag. The point is, I wasn't brand new to copywriting. I was brand new to freelancing full time. Regardless, I'll tell you the three things that kind of influence my earnings the most and that I believe anybody could do. And those three things, I call them the three R's now that I've actually looked back and kind of figured out how I got here. But they're this. First one, relationships. So when I decided that I was going to bet on myself and go all in on freelance copywriting, I got a business coach and we agreed to a $25,000 exchange of services. In other words, he was coaching me on business and I did $25,000 of free writing for him. So first things first, I would start with free writing to build relationships. For me, the best part about that was it gave me time to show what I could do for this gentleman. It gave me a safe place to practice my skills. And once I'd paid my dues, my $25,000 worth of copywriting, he hired me and has opened doors since. In fact, for the time period for that year that I earned $236,000, I want to say about $60,000 of that came from this one source. So obviously that can pay off. That's the first R, relationships. Second R for me was referrals. So everybody I wrote for, I tried to obviously over deliver, make sure they were happy, and in turn, word spread. Now, sometimes I asked for referrals, sometimes I didn't. It just happened. But regardless, referrals grew my business faster than I could on my own. And the best part about referrals is if someone refers you, the referrals often come to you and they're like ready to roll. There's no pitch, there's no sale. They trust you, they probably like you. And because they trust the person that recommended you so much, they're in. So referrals is a huge, valuable, and free or organic way to get more business. Of course, you need to over deliver on the front end to get referrals. If I could do one thing differently, it'd be I would have asked for referrals more. A lot of times I didn't ask, I still got them, but I imagine if I asked, things would have grown bigger and faster. And then last but not least, number three, the third R, I would say is retainer work or recurring work. In other words, recurring work, people who did one project with me were so happy they came back for more. And retainer work, my favorite way to grow. I hate instability. I don't like wondering how much I'm going to make. So to fix that, what I decided to do was typically a client would want a spec project or a small project to start, which is fine. Before I took on that project, I'd tell them that I prefer to work on a retainer basis. So, I wanted to make sure that they'd be open to a long-term partnership if I did my job well. When I did that through the spec project or the first assignment, I would pitch them on a 3-month retainer. If those 3 months went well for both of us, assuming I'm happy and they're happy, I then tried to grow that into a year-long retainer, and now bulk of my income is from that. In fact, if you look back, I'll show you this real quick. So this is my earnings this was 2021 earnings, excuse me. And you can see I have everything by month on the left. I don't want to show you the client names. I don't think that's fair. But if you look, these are my totals from each client. $65,000 from one client. Why? Because it was recurring work. Over here, $35,000 from one client. Why? Because it was a retainer that, as you can see, grew after 3 months. $45,000 from one client here. Again, retainer. And when you look at some of these one-off projects, the money doesn't really add up. So for me, recurring work and retainer work is the best way to grow. That said, if you're a new copywriter, because I know this posted a lot of beginner copywriters, what I tell you is this: follow those 3 R's in order. So start by building relationships, and perhaps the best way to do that is to do free work. That's what I did. That's what worked for me. It gave me a place to practice my skills and get better. Ultimately, you got to write good copy to get good clients. Then earn referrals, and you can earn referrals through free work. That's also exactly what I did. Earn referrals through relationships. And then once you've established yourself, once you have clients coming in or referrals out there, you can start to get recurring work and retainer work so you have some stability and you grow from there. Again, that's what worked for me. The key to me is that I already had authority. I'd already established myself. I already had big brands, Marvel, Petco, Slim Jim, that I'd written for. I just hadn't done it on a freelance basis. So if you're brand new to freelancing, this still works, but you're probably not going to do 236K your first year because you're still proving yourself. My situation was a bit unique, but my playbook, in my opinion, can work for anybody. So I hope that helps you.